Okay, vertical scan, we've got just gingerbread with a long dash, comma, no punctuation, and a colon. So this should be easier, I hope. In crafting her fantasy fiction, Nigerian-born British author Oyeyemi has drawn an inspiration from the classic 19th century fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm. Her 2014 novel, Boy Snowbird, for instance, is a complex retelling of the story Snow White, comma, while her 2019 novel, Gingerbread, offers a delicious twist on the classic tale of Hansel and Gretel. Okay, this is novel, what it is, and then name. This is going to be in a positive, which the gingerbread is the novel. Boy Snowbird is the novel. There's no need for punctuation here. Once we have the name, the positive is identifying it. It's, restrictive. Therefore, we don't use commas. So it's simply going to be the novel Gingerbread with no comma, because the verb follows and we don't put a comma before the verb. Notice it's the same thing up here too. It just doesn't look like it. It's novel, the title with no commas. This comma here, actually these commas are part of the title, and this last comma here is part of separating, for instance, off parenthetically. But none of these commas have to do with the appositive. So equivalent to that is literally no comma is the correct answer, C. Okay, end in the process. So is it going to be and, comma, in the process, comma? Probably not. And in the process with a long dash? Possible. There is another long dash in there. And, comma, in the process? Probably not, because that looks like it's some kind of, well, I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's see what's going on here. Quantum particles of light, photons, parenthetically, provide an unhackable means of transmitting encryption keys over networks. Comma, as attempts to observe particles in quantum states will invariably alter the particles and in the process dismantle any information they transmit. And, comma, I X'd it, looks like that might be the right one, right? Will invariably alter the particles and in the process, that's parenthetically set off, dismantle any information. So I could pull that out. So pull that out and read it. It will say, will invariably alter the particles and dismantle any information they transmit. That's going to be correct. Okay. It's not going to be and in the process, comma. I need the comma before in the process, so that's not right. And it's not going to be and in the process, long dash. Same reason it's not the comma at the end. I need a long dash there or something to set it apart. That's not right. And again, I need a comma after there. It's not right. B is the correct answer. In the process is parenthetically separated. Journalists have dubbed Gil Scott-Heron Godfather of Rap, a title that has appeared in hundreds of articles about him since the 90s. Scott-Heron himself registered the Godfather nickname, however, feeling that it didn't encapsulate his devotion to the broader African-American blues music tradition as well as bluesologist, the moniker he preferred. So feeling that it didn't encapsulate his devotion to the broader, this is not an independent clause. So I'm not sure I'm going to use the semicolon option here on either of them. I think, let's take a look. Let's look if it's just a comma separated by however. Scott-Heron himself registered the Godfather nickname, comma, however, comma, feeling that it didn't encapsulate his devotion to the broader African-American blues tradition. This is going to be the correct answer. It's comma, however, comma, in the middle of the sentence. Nickname, comma, however, feeling. It's not however feeling that it didn't encapsulate. I need the commas to separate however on both sides. And I don't want the semicolon because from the however feeling that it didn't encapsulate his own devotion to the broader African-American blues music tradition does not complete a thought. What? What next? What happens? This is a dependent clause. It's not an independent clause. So there's no independent clause on the other side. The semicolons are wrong. So C is the correct answer. Okay, antiquity, comma, however. And we have a couple answers with semicolons, with a however before or after, very typical setup now we look at, and then a couple options with commas or not. Usually when we see these, they do turn out to be the semicolon. We just have to decide whether it goes before or after. So let's take a look at this one. During the English neoclassical period, many writers imitated the epic poetry and satires of ancient Greece and Rome. They were not the first, however. Probably it would be the first, however, before the semicolon. So I'm thinking C. And then we would say some of the most prominent figures of the earlier Renaissance period were also influenced by ancient Greece and Roman literature. Yeah, this is an independent clause. They're not the first in England to adopt the literary modes of classical antiquity. That's an independent clause. I do need the semicolon in there. And however should come before the semicolon. So it's C. It's not our classical typical semicolon, however, comma. Because I wouldn't say, however, some of the most prominent figures of the early Renaissance period were also influenced. No, it's they were not the first in England to adopt these modes, however. C is the correct answer. Biologist Yuri Lee. Okay, right away we can see this is going to be in a positive. And the question is that if that second part, the name, needs to be separated by commas. The second part is the name, so it's identifying the biologist, which means it's restrictive. It won't be separated by commas. So it's going to be this one, maybe this one with a comma at the end. It will not be this one. It will not be this one, right? Either have no commas or have commas on both sides. In this case, we need no commas. So in a pivotal 2007 article, plant cell biologist Yuri Lee showed. So I have a verb. The verb follows. We do not put a comma between noun and verb. So there won't be a comma at the end here. It's simply going to be biologist Yuri Lee. C. Okay, critic Stina Chin claims. Okay, so we've got, looks like critic Stina Chin. This is going to be in a positive again. We've seen a lot of these on the exam now. And that person claims. So critic Stina Chin, the name, the second part of the positive comes, identifying afterward, which means it's restrictive, no commas are needed. And then a verb. So actually, I think it's going to be, just looking at it, it's going to be C. That makes the most sense. Let's read the final sentence here. 1937, Chinese-American screen actor Anna Wong, who portrayed numerous villains and secondary characters but never a heroine, finally got a starring role in a Paramount Pictures' Daughter of Shanghai, a film that critic Stina Chin claims expanded the range of possibilities. Okay, so I've got a quote here. Maybe I need the comma up front because of the quote. That could be. So maybe I have, let's see, do I have no commas? Critic Stina Chin, no, comma claims, that's not right. Critic Stina Chin, that's not right. Critic Stina Chin claims, that's not right. Yeah, maybe expanded. So this is not a direct quote. Expanded the range of possibilities. She filmed a film that she claims, she's claiming that it expanded the role. Yeah, I don't think this is a direct quote, which means I don't need the comma before the quotation. C is going to be our correct answer. I've gotten a positive, a restrictive, a positive, so no commas around the Stina Chin, and then claims, so certainly no commas between that verb and the noun, the subject noun. And here we have the extra quirk, do I want a comma before the quotation? And there actually is no such option that works that way, so I know it's C. And by the way, I believe it's because it's an indirect quote.